When you're moving to the cloud, you might ask, what happens to all the legacy apps and systems that depend on traditional Active Directory? That's where Microsoft Entra Domain Services steps in. It gives you all the familiar domain capabilities, like domain join, group policy, LDAP, NTLM, and Kerberos, but as a managed service. You don't have to deploy or maintain domain controllers. Microsoft takes care of the heavy lifting while you focus on what matters, enabling your users and apps. With Microsoft Entra Domain Services, you get all the power of traditional Active Directory, without having to manage the infrastructure yourself. For starters, you can domain join your virtual machines in Azure just like you would in your on-premises environment. This gives you a familiar way to enforce policies, control access, and manage systems. You also have the ability to create and manage group policy objects. That means you can define security settings, configuration baselines, and desktop environments, and apply them consistently across all domain-joined machines in your cloud setup. When it comes to your applications, Entra Domain Services lets them authenticate using protocols like LDAP, Kerberos, or NTLM, just as they did in your legacy environment. That way, you don't have to rewrite or modernize every app just to make it cloud-ready. To ensure reliability, the service is replicated across multiple Azure regions, giving you built-in high availability and fault tolerance. So even if one zone experiences issues, your identity services continue without disruption. And perhaps the best part? You don't have to patch, update, or manage domain controllers. Microsoft handles all of that for you. So you can focus on managing identities and policies without the administrative burden. If you're migrating older applications to Azure that still depend on Active Directory for authentication, like LDAP, NTLM, or Kerberos, you don't need to redesign them. With Microsoft Entra Domain Services, you can bring those legacy apps into the cloud without changing how they authenticate. That means no complex federation setups or app refactoring. When you deploy virtual machines in Azure, you'll often want to apply group policies or enable single sign-on (SSO) for your users. By domain joining your VMs to Entra Domain Services, you ensure those machines follow your security standards and allow users to log in seamlessly, just like they would in an on-prem environment. Running both on-prem and cloud environments? Instead of extending your on-prem AD into the cloud, you can rely on Entra Domain Services to provide seamless identity bridging. This lets you manage users and access in both environments securely, without worrying about maintaining a full hybrid AD setup. Have older or line-of-business apps that don't support modern protocols like SAML or OAuth? You can still support them in the cloud using Entra Domain Services. It gives those apps what they need, LDAP, NTLM, and Kerberos, so they continue functioning without breaking. Managing domain controllers is a lot of work: patching, backing up, monitoring. But with Entra Domain Services, Microsoft takes care of all that. You get the benefits of AD like group policy and secure authentication, without the burden of server maintenance. Sometimes, the systems you want to protect aren't in Azure. Even then, Entra Domain Services has your back. You can enable secure authentication for non-Azure resources using your Entra Identities, without needing to stretch your on-prem AD into unfamiliar territory. Why should you care? If you're trying to modernize but still have one foot in legacy systems, this service gives you the best of both worlds. You'll be able to use AD-based authentication without deploying infrastructure, migrate legacy apps to the cloud without rewriting them, secure virtual machines and enforce policy, and operate in hybrid environments with consistent identity management. So, what's your takeaway? Microsoft Entra Domain Services isn't just for old stuff. It's a powerful bridge between traditional identity systems and modern cloud operations. If you want to offload operational burden and still use features like GPOs, LDAP, and Kerberos, this service is for you. You're not just adding a service, you're simplifying your future.